Science is a collaborative field. It thrives on the exchange of ideas, discoveries, and innovations. When you're a researcher ready to share your work, the first impression you make is often through your cover letter. This seemingly simple document serves as a gateway to publication, introducing your research to the editor and setting the stage for a successful review process. Imagine you've spent months, maybe even years, meticulously crafting a research paper. You've poured your heart and soul into it. Now, it's time to submit your manuscript to a scientific journal. This is where your cover letter comes in. It's your chance to make a strong case for why your research deserves publication. A well-written cover letter can make all the difference. It can mean the difference between your paper being immediately rejected and it being sent out for peer review. Think of it as a friendly handshake, a way to connect with the editor and convince them that your work is worth their time and attention. In the competitive world of scientific publishing, a compelling cover letter is not just a formality. It's an essential tool for success. If you found this introduction helpful, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more tips on mastering the art of research paper submissions. In essence, a cover letter is a formal letter that accompanies your research paper when you submit it to a journal. It's your opportunity to directly address the editor, explain your research in a concise and engaging manner, and highlight the significance of your findings. While your research paper presents the detailed methodology, results, and conclusions of your study, the cover letter provides context and perspective. It allows you to tell the story behind your research, emphasize its novelty and relevance, and explain why it's a good fit for the specific journal you're targeting. Think of your research paper as a complex machine and the cover letter as the user manual. The manual doesn't explain every intricate detail of how the machine works, but provides the essential information needed to understand its purpose, functionality, and benefits. Don't underestimate the power of a well-crafted cover letter. It can make your research stand out from the crowd and increase your chances of getting published in your target journal. A well-structured cover letter is easy to read and understand. It follows a logical flow that guides the editor through your research and its implications. First, address the editor formally, like Dear Dr. Smith. If unsure, use Dear Editor. The opening paragraph should grab attention and state the purpose of your letter. Mention the title of your manuscript and the type of article. Briefly summarize your research, including the main question, methodology, key findings, and implications. Emphasize what makes your research novel and important. Explain how your findings contribute to existing knowledge. Mention any ethical approvals, funding sources, or potential conflicts of interest. Finally, conclude by expressing hope for publication and thank the editor for their time and consideration. The first few sentences of your cover letter are crucial. They determine whether the editor continues reading or moves on to the next submission. You need a strong hook to capture their attention and pique their interest. One effective approach is to start with a bold statement about your research findings or the problem your study addresses. For example, you could write, "Our study provides compelling evidence that," or "the current study addresses a critical gap in the understanding of." Another approach is to highlight the novelty or significance of your research right from the start. For instance, "We present the first evidence of," or "Our findings have important implications for." Remember, the goal is to create intrigue and make the editor eager to learn more about your research. Section 5. Showcasing relevance. Highlighting your research. Once you've hooked the editor, you need to provide a concise and compelling summary of your research. This section should highlight the key aspects of your study, including the research question, methodology, findings, and conclusions. Use clear and concise language, avoiding technical jargon or overly complex explanations. Focus on the most impactful aspects of your work, tailoring the information to the specific journal's audience. For example, instead of writing, "We employed a mixed methods approach, combining quantitative surveys with qualitative interviews to gather data from a representative sample of participants," you could write, To understand the experiences of the target population, we combined survey data with in-depth interviews, providing a comprehensive view of the phenomenon under investigation. Remember, the goal is to communicate your research effectively to a broader scientific audience, not just specialists in your field. Section 6. Connecting the dots. Addressing the journal's scope. Editors want to know that you've carefully considered their journal as the best fit for your research. Take the time to thoroughly read the journal's aims and scope, paying attention to the type of articles they publish, their target audience, and recent publications. In your cover letter, explicitly state why you believe your research aligns with the journal's scope. Mention specific aspects of your work that resonate with the journal's interests and highlight how your findings contribute to the ongoing conversations within the field. For example, you could write, "We believe that our manuscript is a strong fit for journal name because it addresses specific theme or topic which aligns with the journal's focus on broader area of research." You can further strengthen your case by referring to recent publications in the journal that are relevant to your work. This demonstrates that you've done your homework and that your research is in conversation with the current scholarship in the field. Section 7. The art of persuasion. Emphasizing significance and originality. Editors receive numerous submissions, so it's crucial to highlight what makes your research stand out from the crowd. Why should they choose to publish your work over others? Clearly articulate the significance and originality of your findings. Explain how your research contributes to the existing body of knowledge, fills a gap in the literature, or challenges existing assumptions. For example, you could write, "Our study provides the first evidence of novel finding, which has important implications for area of application." Or, "Our findings challenge the prevailing view that existing assumption and suggest that alternative perspective." By emphasizing the unique contributions of your research, you make a stronger case for why it deserves publication in their esteemed journal. Common cover letter mistakes. A poorly written cover letter can derail your chances of publication. Avoid generic letters. Editors can spot them a mile away. Tailor your letter to each journal. Keep it concise and to the point. Avoid overly technical language. Avoid exaggerated claims. Follow the journal's guidelines. Proofread carefully before submitting. Section 9. Making a lasting impression. Final touches and submission. Before submitting your cover letter, take the time to polish it to perfection. Read it aloud to catch any awkward phrasing or grammatical errors. Ask a colleague to review it for clarity and conciseness. Ensure that your cover letter is formatted professionally, using a standard font, consistent spacing, and clear headings, if applicable. Follow the journal's guidelines for submission, including file format and any specific naming conventions. Remember, your cover letter is your first impression. Make it count. By following these tips and avoiding common pitfalls, you can craft a compelling cover letter that increases your chances of getting your research paper accepted for publication. Science is about pushing boundaries, exploring the unknown, and sharing discoveries with the world. Your cover letter is the first step in that journey, so make it a strong and memorable one.